Hey you guys, it's Source Sky from Bless Your Heart Tarot. Hope y'all doing well today. I am on here to bring you guys a quick message and talk to you guys about the Hangman, the Hermit, and the Temperance card, okay? Because y'all know I like to teach. I like to teach tarot, help you understand these cards, what they mean, energy and stuff like that, okay? So, how this all came about. We are headed into Scorpio season, okay? And what that's going to look like for members of the collective, especially the unaligned members, okay? Basically, karma's here, all right? There is no getting in front of it, okay? There is no running from it, all right? Karma's here. You've sowed it. Now it's time to reap it, okay? But I don't want you guys to think of it as punishment, okay? I was laying in bed last night and I started thinking about Jonah, the story of Jonah, okay? And that's what, I'm going to tie it all in if y'all give me a chance, okay? Everybody loves to talk about blessings through obedience, but nobody wants to talk about alignment through consequence. When I worked in dialysis for a while, I worked with this social worker who said, Tamla, everybody knows their rights, but nobody wants to talk about the responsibilities, okay? Patients would complain whenever they didn't get their way. Sometimes they were late on machines or whatever the case, But now when it came to them being in fluid overload and itching all over the place because their potassium levels were through the roof, okay? And they weren't, monitoring themselves on their off days. And we had to pull them a little harder, to get the fluid off of them. It hurts, okay? And there was a lot of complaining and y'all can't keep me on this machine and all this, that. And they were right, they couldn't, okay? But discontinuing treatments, weren't to their good. But, they could shout at you and tell you about their rights, okay? But then, come in the next couple of days, 10 kilos over their dry weight, okay? Knew those rights, okay? Never want to talk about the responsibilities, okay? Everybody wants to talk about blessings through obedience. Do right by the Lord, do what the Lord tell you, you get blessed, okay? But nobody wants to talk about alignment through consequence, okay? So, I love Bible knowledge, okay? I love the stories of the Bible, okay? I do not appreciate those who scripture bend and Bible thump, okay? People who use the Bible to shame and hurt and attack other people, okay? Because that's not God. That's people. People do that bullshit, okay? See, I just said the word bullshit, okay? I'm already being judged because I'm talking about God, Jonah, the Bible, and all of that. With curse words coming out of my mouth, okay? God can use anybody, okay? I think everybody has that sign in their church. What, Rob was a prostitute, Noah was a drunk, so on and so forth. God used them, right? All right. So that being said, okay? So remember, God told Jonah, I'm going to need you to head on down to Nineveh and tell them people they need to get right. All right? Because they're doing too daggone much down there. Okay? Jonah looks at God and he's like, all right. But thinking to himself the whole time, man, all right, okay. All right, I'll go, all right. The minute God's back is turned, while Jonah is out in the middle of the ocean, on a boat in the opposite daggone direction, okay? And, I picture these stories in my head, like, I picture, God's like doing something, and then when he goes to check on Jonah, God's like doing a double take, like, I know you did. Are you serious? Boy, I sent you. What are you doing way over there? You know what I'm saying? So God is like, all right, you honestly think I can't see you. So God sends a storm, right? Okay. A storm that is so daggone bad. Okay. Jonah thinks he's going to die. A ship comes along, rescues him, right? So God is like, all right. So you really think I'm playing, okay? You think you safe, okay? Because these people don't know what you're up to. I tell you what, you just put more people in danger. Okay? Because this is your daggone karma, and they just inherited it, and they don't even know it. All right? So the storm gets worse. Okay? And, Jonah knows why. So Jonah's like telling these folk, y'all, your man, hey, he looking for me. Okay? Y'all gotta let me off the ship. Man, go ahead and put me off of this doggone thing, because he ain't gonna knock again. He ain't gonna ask again. All right? So, but Jonah gets off the boat. The people do what they can for him. He gets off the boat. Jonah think everything is good. And then God is like, you think everything good? Really? You think because you off the boat now and now you ready to do what I tell you to do, you think everything good? Orca! A whale, right, comes along and swallows his ass up. Okay? And he sits in the belly of that whale for 3 days and 3 nights. Right? Okay. Hangman. Okay. Sacred pause. Okay. I had that in the upright. Okay. That was in the reverse. Okay. This is hangman in the upright. Okay. This is what this is. This was the first step. Okay. When that whale swallowed Jonah upright. Okay. So what this is sacred pause. Okay. I know it looks weird because I'm glad I actually did pick it up this way at first. This is the hangman in the reverse, okay? All right. This is you. This is people seeing things from their own point of view, their own, okay, perceptive, their own, what's the word I'm looking for? Seeing things basically the way that they want to see them. Sometimes it's the only way that they know how. Okay. This is their perception, okay? All right. Hangman in the upright, he's upside down, right? Because sometimes, you guys, the only way to see clearly is upside down. I have always said to people, anybody who knows me, okay, has heard me say multiple times, most people right side up is my upside down, and most people's upside down is my right side up. Okay? It's sacred surrender. Again, okay, because sometimes it's not your fault that you can only see things, that we can only see things from one angle. Okay. Sometimes that's about conditioning, depending on how we were raised, who our influences growing up. Okay. So sometimes that's why God does this. Okay. Now, what it may feel like in the 3D, and I've talked about this before. Okay. You just all of a sudden just start withdrawing, but it's not in a way that makes you feel depressed. Okay. It's not in a way, I guess in the 3D, people would say, well, I've just outgrown that. Okay. You start spending more time, okay, just alone, just pondering. Okay. Just, again, thinking about things from different points of view. Okay. Because it's a spiritual suspension. Okay. God holds you, okay, and isolates you so that you can only hear him. So you can dead all that noise. He deads all that noise for you. Okay. Opens up the mind, opens up the subconscious, opens up that third eye. Okay. Jonah spent, so this was the first leg of his journey inside of that well. Okay. Once you are in this sacred pause, here's the hangman. Okay. I'm sorry, this is the hermit. Okay. See that light? Okay. This is the light that helps you see inside the shadow, not run from it. Okay. The hermit doesn't run from shadow. Okay. This is finding the light inside of the darkness. Okay. It's an inward reflection. Okay. Because you can't really get here. You can't really, I guess, for lack of a better word, face your demons, okay, when you're still playing with them. Okay, when you're still entertaining them. Basically, when you're still in this energy. This is reverse hangman, okay? This was Jonah resisting. Okay? When he got his behind on that boat and thought that he was going to do things the way that he wanted to do them. Okay? And you can't, you guys, we cannot, okay? Those of you who are, you know, that's going through your karma or soon will be, okay? When you had a chance to get in this energy to go and hangman, you didn't, okay? You resisted for whatever reason, that looked like, again, like I said, depending on influences and things like that, okay? Some people can just get only very narrow-minded, very closed off, can only see things one way, ego and things like that. Sometimes some people, it's just a stubborn refusal. You only want to see things the way that you want to see them, okay? Because you just want the outcome that you want, okay? Which puts this guy in the reverse, okay? All right, but for the purposes of this story, okay, yeah, after Jonah went into sacred isolation inside of that whale, and prayed for 3 days and 3 nights, okay, and he had to go inward. He had to, he had to face that ego. He had to face the darkness. Okay, that's what this is. Okay, it is. You have to go within. We have to go within. Jonah had to go within inside himself. Okay, praying, asking himself, why was I so disobedient? Why didn't I just do what my father told me to do? Okay, what is the problem? Within. What is the problem with me? Those are only questions that Jonah can answer. Those are only questions that we can answer, okay, in this energy. This is what this energy will help you do, okay? Finally, temperance on that third day. What he prayed for 3 days and 3 nights, okay? So this, this could be arguable on that. So it would have been, the 4th day, God saw that he was truly repentant, okay? He had worked things out, okay? Because this is surrender and reflection. Okay, this is the card of sacred alchemy. Jonah had learned how to merge the lesson with the purpose. Okay, and that's where obedience and grace starts. Okay, once you you merge the lesson with the purpose. Okay, all right. Now you're into obedience and grace. That equals an integration. Okay, the balance, timing, the balance of dark and of light and shadow. Okay, you guys. I'm not bubbly and bright and happy all the daggone time, okay? I'm not dark and mean and brooding all the time either. Hell, sometimes I just don't want to be damn happy, but I don't want to be sad and depressed all the time either. Alchemy, balance, okay? All right? And so once, God saw that he was truly repentant, okay? Well opens up his mouth. Jonah gets his butt on over to Nineveh and does what God tells him to do, okay? The people of Nineveh listen to him. Depending on what version that you read, they drape themselves in sackcloths. Okay. They repented. Okay. Nineveh was saved. Jonah goes on about his business. Okay. Scorpio season. Okay. For you guys going through your karma, you are now or soon will be in the belly of the whale. Okay. You are going into sacred isolation. Okay. Do not resist it. Okay. Again, everybody wants to talk about blessings through obedience. Okay. Nobody wants to talk about alignment through consequence. That is what your karma is. Okay. Alignment through consequence. It is not punishment. Is it going to feel that way? Yeah. In the 3D, yeah. 3D, yeah. Okay. But I want you guys to think 5D because that's where everything starts. Okay. Everything that happens in the 3D was manifested in the 5D first. Okay. That being said, okay, do not resist this. Do not resist this sacred pause. Okay. Go inward. Okay. It is healed. Let God heal you. Okay. Take your responsibility. Own up to your stuff. Okay. Because not owning up to, the things that you've done or didn't do or whatever the case is how you got here in the first place. All right. Okay. You do this. Okay. God will balance everything out for you. Okay. I'm not going to lie and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Some of y'all about to go through it. Okay. Only you guys know why. And you're going to know what your karma looks like. Okay. You're going to know what it feels like. Okay. The divine will let you know. Okay. Learn from it. Okay. This is all divine intervention. Okay. This is major stuff. This is major arcana. These 3 cards are divine intervention. Okay. All right. The divine is with you. If you allow it. At the same time, we are all beings, and we all still have free will, okay? So just like these 3 cards are in there upright, y'all still got free will to turn them right back into reverse, okay? To go right back into that behavior, okay, that got you into this karmic mess in the first place, okay? We got free will, okay? You don't need to inbox me, DM me, ask me, well, what's going to happen if I don't? You have free will. We all have free will, okay? The tools are there. The divine is there. Your ancestors are there, some of y'all, okay? But you got free will. Do or don't do. It is truly, up to you, okay? But you see what happened to Jonah, all right? That's all I wanted to say to y'all today. I will be back on here tonight between 10 and 10:30 to do free mini reads, 1 question only. Thank y'all so much for liking, sharing, following me, sharing my videos and all of that. Y'all support means so, so, so much, okay? And bless your hearts, and I love you. Bye.